morning. How are you today?
Good, you?
Good. Thank you. Welcome to Introduction to Psychology. So we kind of stop here. Yeah, chapter 5. We've been talking about memory. I think Daniel and I, we have such a good memory, more than 7 digits. We try to memorize the random telephone number. Do you still remember somehow, or maybe not?
Number?
Yeah, telephone number?
No.
No?
I mean, it's like 224
Okay.
3 24, and then that's about all I remember.
Yeah. Because it's a 10 number and it's really challenging. Let me try. I think because it was starting from my favorite number, so it was 3 and lucky 7 and 2. Somehow 2 was kind of repetitive. So 3, 7, 2 and 9, 6, 2. And I do not know the rest of it because September 6th is my birthday, so I guess that's why I try to remember in that way. And I like number 3 and 5 and 7. So 3, 7, 2 and 9, 6, 2, but I do not remember those 4-digit number. But we spend almost like more than 24 hours and still we remember at least a little bit of information. In my case, when I try to connect those random number with my meaningful, like some contents, I could remember much better. Yeah, like my favorite number and my birthday, and it's kind of hard to forget, right? Do you still remember? Just want to check on with you the words I showed you, like the first slide.
So it'd be like dog, cat, pig, cow.
Yeah, those are animal.
Pear, orange, peach.
Very good.
Shirt, shoes, pants, socks.
Yes, very good. I'm so glad. So, why do you think you can still remember those?
The grouping.
Grouping.
Putting stuff together,
Yeah,
like
grouping.
recognition kind of in a way.
I see. Yes, thank you. So one of the things we should remember is encoding specificity is whenever you try to retrieve those information, you'd better have a similar, maybe same situation and same state. So for the introduction to psychology, if it is an in-class exam, you'd better sit right there, right? Because you've been taking class and taking a note there. And also feeling happy and maybe relaxed because that's the same state you can take the exam. Okay, so next one. So we've been talking about grouping. The terminology in memory is chunking, like a chunk of information. Yeah, chunking. Yeah, maybe chicken chunk, right? So like a chunk of information. So effortful encoding means you try to put intentionally try to remember and having those information. So chunking, grouping together with related items, just like the same animal group, fruit group, and clothing. So you did a great job, and because of those chunking, you could remember much better. And rehearsal, that's the terminology in memory. Rehearsal means repetition. You do say again and again and again. Yeah. So we already talked about on the first slide, whenever we try to memorize those words, we learn about this concept. It's important concept. So rehearsal, there are 2 different kinds of rehearsal. First one is maintenance, which is, cat, dog, pig, cow. Cat, dog, pig, cow. Say again and again and again. That's the maintenance rehearsal. It's just kind of same. Again, repeat again and again and again, same thing. And elaborative rehearsal, which is you try to make some connection. For example, number 3 and 5 and 7 is my favorite number. Somehow the random telephone number contains 3 and 7. And just kind of 2. I need to remember just the 2. And the next one is my birthday. So I should remember 9, 6, and 2. And I do not remember those 4 other digit number, but try to make some meaningful story relating to you so you could remember better. But whenever we say like a rehearsal, that means most likely repetition. But if you want to divide into 2 different kind of rehearsal, there are maintenance rehearsal and elaborative rehearsal. Okay, so since we're talking about chunking and rehearsal, it's going to be your last kind of test taking about your memory. So next slide, there are kind of long list of all the things, and try to remember as much as possible. Okay, is it okay? I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Yeah, 30 seconds. Okay, are you ready? Okay, yes. Okay, let's go now. Okay, good. Can you write down as much as possible you remember? I mean, it's such a long list, so it's kind of challenging us, but that's going to be our last one. Try to, test our memory. So if you are listening my lecture, you try to remember and write down the words you could retrieve. Those are, a session pulling out information whenever you need those information. Okay, let's check together. So, I mean, it's a pretty long list of making, I guess, maybe pizza, yeah? So, I will check one by one. How about did you get lettuce? Yes. Dressing?
Yep.
Croutons?
Yep.
Yeah. Carrots?
No, I missed that one.
Okay. How about tomatoes?
Yep.
Yeah. Pizza crust?
Yeah,
Yes.
but I got pizza dough.
Pizza dough, yes, pizza crust and tomato sauce.
Yep.
Shredded cheese, yeah. How about the oregano, those herbs?
Put basil. I
Basil,
forgot, right?
because you like the basil putting on it. Okay, pepperoni.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, mushrooms.
Well, nope, I didn't get pepperoni.
You didn't get
And
pepperoni?
I didn't get mushrooms.
Okay, what kind of pizza do you like usually?
It really depends. Usually, pepperoni's good, but my local pizza place has hamburger pizza. It's bacon cheeseburger. It's got bacon, hamburger meat, onions, stuff like that.
Oh, that sounds really awesome. Yeah, bacon hamburger pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should try that one. Okay, detergent. It's a random
Yeah,
little
I
bit,
did
but
get that.
detergent, fabric softener,
Did get that.
dryer sheets.
Yeah. but
Okay,
I
okay.
just missed
Bleach.
the dryer part. I just put sheets.
Okay, how about the bleach?
I didn't get bleach.
Okay, but pretty much. So, I mean, it's a lot of a list, but what kind of a strategy did you use? Try to remember.
Just remembering those chunkings,
Uh-huh.
the salad ingredients, pizza ingredients, laundry items,
Yeah.
and just, I got them mixed up a little bit because I could remember it was a vegetable or more like a, a seasoning or whatever, a herb. There we go.
Yeah,
But I
herb.
couldn't remember what type it was.
Yeah,
So I
but
put basil instead.
but still you remember most of this except a couple of things. So I think that's really amazing. And I believe maybe we improved, you and I both, we improved our memory skill through this class a little bit. Okay, good. So for the future, whenever you try to remember long list of your grocery shopping or anything else, if you can using those chunking skill and rehearsal, you could remember better. Okay, so next one, let's talk about types of memory. Since this is like a memory chapter, we are going to talk about what kind of memory. There are explicit memory and implicit memory. So explicit memory is it requires, conscious awareness. Intentionally, you try to remember certain content. So there are two different kind of explicit memory. First one is semantic memory. Second one is episodic memory. So semantic memory is, Daniel, do you still remember what is definition of psychology?
The scientific study of behavior and mind.
Very good, very good. So those are semantic memory. Yeah. What is 2 plus 7?
9.
Yes, yes. So you already starting from very young age. You know all the plus and minus and calculation. Those are semantic memory. So it's more like a basic fact and maybe definition. Episodic memory is different. So whenever you try to remember, you have some episode, like an individual private story with that. So episodic memory, personally experienced the events. Have you ever been to Hawaii? No? Yeah, me neither. Yeah, that's one of the bucket list. Okay. How about, have you ever been to Yellowstone?
No.
No, me neither. That's one of the bucket list. Okay. How about, I bet you, have you ever been to Colorado?
No.
No, not yet? Okay. So I went to Colorado 2 times, so maybe I will tell you. Have you ever been to Disneyland? Me neither. How about Disney?
I've been to a lot of different places.
Okay. How about where is the place? Maybe would you recommend your maybe greatest place? Maybe
Germany.
Okay, Germany. Yeah. Okay.
I was also in Poland.
Poland. Okay, so Auschwitz, those Jewish place. Those.
So I can't remember the name of the place in Poland because it was really hard to pronounce.
Okay.
But in Germany, it was Grafenberg, and it was just a specific part of a town that was military based.
Okay.
But both of those areas had lots of just nature around. So like I was able to see World War II bunkers and stuff like that.
That's amazing. Yeah. So you went to Germany. Yeah. And you remember great nature. Yeah. Those are only to you. Episodic memory, you have a special story with that, right? So those are more like episodic memory. Semantic memory is because when you're thinking about your trip or maybe you're serving as an army in Germany, you still need to think about it consciously, right? So you put like an effort to think about it. So those are both explicit memory, but it is different. Semantic memory versus episodic memory. Under implicit memory, there's the other part of the memory. Implicit memory, maybe you don't need to, consciously remember or remind you to think about that fact. So procedure memory is once you learn how to drive, it become more like automatically you do kind of move your car when you drive, yeah? So I know you're driving 2 hours per day. That's really such a dedication.
So almost goes along with muscle memory.
Yes, yeah. So those are more like a procedure memory, yeah, implicit memory. And if you play piano and pianist, I was really amazed. How could they remember like 1 hour all the performance? It become more like, I think at least it's more like explicit memory, try to remember all the music note. But later on, like your muscle memory, your kind of all the fingers, right? So those are more like a procedure memory. And priming, so whenever you do see certain sign, you just do not think twice, just kind of do certain behavior. How about whenever you see police car, what do you do usually?
Slow down.
Me too. Even though I go to my speed limit, like a 55, I just kind of slow down up to maybe 40. I feel like maybe did I do something wrong? Maybe do I need to kind of an over speed limit? So just kind of slow down. Yeah, so those are like a priming, almost like maybe unconsciously, whenever you see the police car, you just kind of slow down. Is there anything make you like that, like a priming effect? Like whenever you see like a yellow M sign, which is like a McDonald's, do you feel like any craving for chicken nugget, maybe soda or coffee or anything you kind of maybe that? Yeah, gives me some priming.
Would, you know how they have a whole sentence put on a page and all the like letters and stuff. Some of them are turned into 7s and 8s, but your brain can still see what they're saying? Is
Yeah.
that priming pretty much?
Yeah, it can be interpreted in that way. So even maybe when you go back home, you may be really happy. Maybe see certain sign of a store, kind of give you some cue. Oh, this is home. Maybe I can, this is like a relax. I mean, I don't need to worry about highway, anything else. Maybe it can be some store at the corner, or maybe traffic light, yeah? Or maybe some siren sound even, maybe sunset, kind of can give you some cue. And you don't need to remember the clearly, but give you, oh, this is home. Do you have those signs near your home and neighborhood? Whenever you kind of get into your neighborhood?
Not really.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty generic.
Okay. And learning, we are going to talk about learning next chapter, chapter 6. Probably we may try to finish this chapter, chapter 5 memory, and go to learning chapter next Tuesday. But we may kind of begin to a little bit of learning if we have a time. So classical conditioning. So learning, we will talk about all different kind of learning. So it will be really interesting, like observation learning, cognitive learning, behavioristic learning, and classical learning, all different kind of learning. So classical conditioning. So conditioning means if we put learning, you can understand better. Yeah, classical conditioning, classical learning. Pavlov dog. We will talk about that Pavlov dog in chapter 6. Anything, whenever you do see, maybe some people see Starbucks sign and automatically, almost like a reflex, oh, I want to drink coffee. Because if they really love coffee, whenever they see the sign on the way, like driving to, maybe long driving to a certain destination. So they give like almost learning, but you learned because when you go to Starbucks coffee store, you can have your favorite coffee. So you learned in that way. And also McDonald's too, whenever you see like an M sign, like a yellow sign, the father's place on the way, oh, maybe that place I can go use the restroom. Yeah, so that's kind of give you you learned in that way. So almost like instantly like a reflex. For the dog, before dog can have those meat and dog, favorite food, there's like a bell sound, right? So bell sound and there's a meat and dog can give some salivation. So later on, through those association, when the dog listen to those bell sound, just salivation happen. Yeah, so those bell sound gives you almost like a reflex, salivation. Bell sound, reflex, as of salivation, even though there's no food. So you learned in that way, couple of those association make you learning possible. So it's more like a reflex, kind of reflex learning. So we will talk about those classical learning and conditional learning next chapter, whole learning chapter. But that's kind of implicit memory because you don't need to consciously remember whenever you do see police car. Slow down. Whenever you see like an M yellow sign, I need to go to restroom. And whenever I see, as a dog, whenever he or she can listen to the bell sound, salivation, because they are expecting food will come soon. Yeah, so learned in that way through association. Those are more like a classical conditioning and classical learning. Okay. So let's go one by one a little bit. So one more time, explicit memory. There are two different kind of memory, semantic memory and episodic memory, right? So it can be the one fact can be two different memory. For example, the Chicago Cubs won the World Series in 2016. It's a long time ago. Do you like baseball? No, not really? Okay.
I could play it and have fun, but I never watched it.
You don't know what?
Or played it in school.
I see. So, it's a long time ago, but 2016, it's a fact, right? It's a fact. The Chicago Cubs won the World Series in 2016. So when you try to remember, it's around, maybe 10 years ago. So you need to consciously think about that fact. So when you try to think about it, prefrontal cortex is activating. Those are kind of more fact. Yeah, it's happened as an event, right? But same event, the Chicago Cubs won the World Series in 2016, but on that day, Actually, I watched that game with my best friend. We ordered bacon hamburger pizza. And we had, Mountain Dew and maybe Coca-Cola, and we had really such a great fun. It was a really fun day. So we watched the exactly same content, but if it is more personalized, your memory, it can be episodic memory, and hippocampus is activating. So even though one fact, the Chicago Cubs won the World Series in 2016, if you try to remember as just a fact, maybe your prefrontal cortex is activating, but that was a really fun time with my friends, having my favorite pizza and soda. So those are more like episodic memory. Okay, good. Okay, so implicit memory one more time. We are gonna do some activity. Daniel, are you wearing sneakers, some like strings and tie? You can tie the shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. So when did you learn how to tie shoe?
I don't know.
Maybe when you were in age 4 and 5, like a
Maybe,
kindergarten.
I don't remember learning.
Yeah, but you have a certain way to knot and make some, the way of your shoe. Yeah.
The proper way. I believe I tie it the proper way.
Okay, good. So, procedure memory. So, how do you tie your shoes? Maybe when you are young, like a young child, like age 4 and 5, maybe your mom and dad taught you how to, make those tie. Mm-hmm. And do you still remember what did your mom or maybe dad say to you, explain wise?
Not really.
Not really. Yeah. It's okay.
Like I just don't remember even who taught me.
Okay.
And I have heard of some methods.
Okay.
But the
Okay.
only thing I can remember is somebody saying something about put the bunny ear through a loop or a hole or something like that.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Are you using those way, like a bunny ears and whole
do
the same thing? Yeah. So if you don't mind, can you untie your shoe and try to explain to me? Is it okay? Yeah.
I don't know. So you grab.
Okay. If you don't mind, can you maybe come front? If you don't mind, yes.
You want me to do it right in front?
Yeah, maybe you can put your legs here. I mean, if you can try to show to me. Yeah, please.
Well, if I show you, I don't
Yeah.
say it. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, you can, and maybe say and show. Okay.
Okay, so you take the right and the left, and you flip them over like that.
Okay.
And then you're going to take the right side and put it underneath, and then tighten it. And you're going to create a bunny ear on the right side, and toss this left side over it.
Okay.
And flip it around. Oh, shoot, now you got me. Okay, so and then you put this, you make a bunny ear through that loop.
Yeah.
Then you just tighten it. And then you can do it again.
One more?
One time.
Okay, yay, thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, that's really amazing. And, probably when you are a child, you try to remember very hard way because bunny ear doesn't, make that perfect bunny ear. No. And as a little child, maybe tiny hands and try to make a roof. And some students, I realized they're making 2 bunny ear, just like one here and the other side, and just to make a knot. Have you ever kind of heard that one too? Yeah. But I do have a tying shoe that way, exactly your way. I try to make one, my right side, and kind of around and kind of make 2. And maybe double tie at the end.
So
but And some of the they just make a one bunny ear and the other bunny ear, and then just kind of make a tie together. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there are different kind of way, but that's the kind of implicit memory because you do not think too much whenever you maybe loosen your shoe laces, you just kind of tie your shoe automatically.
Yeah, harder explaining it than just doing it.
Yeah, just to do it. Yeah, those are more like an implicit memory. Maybe those are procedure memory, muscle memory. You do remember almost like automatically. So related with the cerebellum and basal ganglia, that's the way. Let's talk about memory. Do you believe memory is really clear and pretty precise, or it can be changed? What is your opinion about memory?
What do you mean it can be changed?
So it can be maybe decayed, and maybe you do not
Oh,
remember
yeah.
exactly
Definitely.
information, and
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, shoot, even some things that I thought would be like memories because it was really funny or just a really good time in basic training in the Army. I thought I would remember for a long time, and then by like 3 years down the road, I don't even remember some of the guys I went to basic training's names anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
It depends on how often you think about them, how often you go back and visit that memory.
Sure,
It'll start
sure.
decaying.
Yeah, yeah. So we're going to talk about, what affects memory. Memory is like a tape recording, because once we got memory, those event, do we remember exactly, or maybe we remake our own story and we receive those information, rebuild again. So we will talk a little bit about those, memory function. So time-wise, decay. Use it or lose it. If you do not keep thinking about maybe that event, you just fade it out and maybe very vague memory. Yeah. Do you still remember your kindergarten teacher's name? Somehow I remember her name, like when I was in kindergarten.
I don't think I went to.
Okay.
I was homeschooled.
Oh,
so
I see, I
until
see.
Fourth grade, I was homeschooled.
I see.
To my mom.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I really respect all the mom who do like homeschooling, because it's lots of work and
yeah.
very disciplined and
Really
organized.
easy,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it can be really challenging for her, but I'm glad that she raised you very well, and I'm so glad you're here too. So context-wise, I have those. We will talk about interference on the line. So interference, retroactive interference, and proactive interference. Because it can be a little confusing, but if you use those arrow sign, it will be easier for you. So retroactive, when you hear retro, it's kind of going back. So can you make an arrow sign? Retro. Oh, maybe it should be retroactive, like the second one, like a retroactive, retroactive interference. That means because of current situation, so whenever you hear retroactive interference, it should go back, like that sound, that kind of arrow sign right here. Retroactive interference. Because of a current situation, I do not remember my old information. So maybe we have a new telephone number right now. Daniel, you have a new telephone number now. Because of current information, you cannot think about your old telephone number. Yeah, I know you still remember all the telephone number, Louisiana one.
Those context clues too, so re for regress and pro for progress.
Yeah, but most of people, because maybe they make a new telephone number, it's really hard to get the old one. So those are retroactive interference, means because of a current active situation, you do not retrieve well the old information. Those are retroactive interference. And the second one is proactive interference. So go front, proactive interference. Because of the old information, currently I have a hard time. Let's say Spanish and French. There are lots of kind of similar vocabulary. So imagine you took Spanish when you are in high school, the whole Spanish classes, right? But you are now in college. Somehow you want to challenge yourself to learn French. So you're taking French class, right? And tomorrow you need to take the French exam. So try to remember all the vocabulary. But because of the old memory, somehow right now you are really confusing. Cannot retrieve well those current French vocabulary. If it is the case, because the old experience kind of bothering you and retrieve you those new information, it can be proactive interference. Basically, you have some problem right now, currently problem. But retroactive interference means because of the current situation, you have a hard time to get information about old information, your past information. So arrow sign should be this one, will be retroactive interference. This one is proactive interference. Does it make sense a little bit? It can be a little confusing, but I'm gonna
twist together.
Yes. So what else will be the good information? So can you think of any good example? Maybe because of a current situation, you cannot remember the past information. What else? Yeah, telephone number can be a good example. If you got a new phone, kind of confusing because of the old information, but you cannot think about those old information. I will explain one more time because there are another concept, so it will be more clear. Maybe a couple of later the slide, I will explain one more time. Okay, yeah. But that's basically retroactive. I cannot remember my old cell phone number. That means the problem is old information. You cannot get it. Yeah, because of the current situation. And proactive is like a problem is right here. You have some problem right now, because of the old experience. So I will explain one more time. And underline, one more time, underline serial position effect. That's the one of the, some influence because of our memory, primacy and recency. As a human being, we have a tendency to remember first part of the information, that's the primacy. First part of the information and ending part of the information. Those are recency. Yeah. So imagine you apply for a job and luckily you are chosen for the interview, right? And there are 10 applicants. If it is possible, I know you cannot choose those spots. If it is possible, maybe you should be more like a first person, maybe second person, like a beginning person, or at the end. So when you interview people, those interviewer, maybe it seems like more remember first person and last person, unless you do really great job and very unique kind of expression to them. Middle part of people is kind of mingled into our memory. So first part and last part, as a human being, we seem to remember much clearer and longer. What do you think about this? So if there's like a list of maybe 20 words, and you try to remember those words, and we realize through the test, people seem to remember the first like 4 to 5 words and last 4 to 5 words, not the between. Those are more like a serial position effect. We do have a tendency to remember first part of the information and last part of the information. Could you kind of agree a little bit about that? Yeah, maybe it's depending on the context.
Especially if you skim.
Okay. Yes, so skimming all the information. Okay, so we are gonna watch one video clip and talk about flashbulb memory. Because sometimes I don't want to remember my scary dream, but still keep occurring to me. I don't want to remember, but because those fearful emotion and kind of keep giving me those cue. So do you have any those memory you don't want to remember, but still you just can automatically give you some cue and remember clearly, kind of? Okay, so which is good, which is really good blessing because some of the people they do suffer. Maybe they can be part of the PTSD, maybe some combat situation, or maybe tragic maybe situation when they are young. They kind of don't want to remember and erase those memory from their life, but still kind of occurring to them because of those emotions. So flashbulb memory underline, it's relating with your emotion almost like automatically come to you. But thinking about in that way, flash memory, it's not only relating with your bad or sad memory. It can be really happy and good memory. Yeah, so think about Daniel. If you have any happy and good memory, you just kind of automatically, whenever you think about your birthday, maybe you remember maybe big, huge birthday cake your grandma made to you. I mean, example, yeah. So those like a good memory can be. So we are gonna watch one video clip and talk more about it.
A flashbulb memory is a memory that has a deep emotional connection with a person, and so that they are able to more vividly recall that memory and it sticks with them for a lot longer than just a normal memory.
That's when a really good or a really bad experience happened in your life and you're not forgetting it. You're pretty much going to remember it probably till the day you die.
I do have a flashbulb memory. I was anticipating getting into an art school that I wanted to go to for high school. But I remember when my father came home one day, I was in the living room on the couch and he came through the door and the first thing that he told me was that I was accepted into the art school. I feel like my brain created a flashbulb memory of that particular moment because I was so excited for going to that school and I was anticipating the response, hoping that I was going to get in. And learning that I did, it was just a huge emotional rush.
Everyone has a bunch of bad ones. I've been in a car accident. I'm not going to forget that one. I was rear-ended from the back, but I just remember pinpoint every single detail. Like I hit my head on the steering wheel. I saw my phone fly.
I was in Michigan with my uncle and we went to a baseball game, but I really wasn't paying attention to who was playing, but I wanted chocolate ice cream. My sister said I couldn't have any because I'll make a mess and it'll show on my clothes and stuff like that. So when we were at the concession stand about to order, a foul ball had hit me in my lower back and it hurt like so bad. So I had to get an ice bag and eventually we got back to getting our ice cream and I was able to get chocolate then. I was happy, but I still made a mess either way.
Okay. So, do you have any memory you remember because happy memory or?
In the Army.
Okay.
So we were driving in the desert and there was a desert storm going on and I was the one driving and my track commander up top, he couldn't see but he didn't really let me know that he couldn't see and I was like, man, I can't see. And
Yeah.
he's just kind of quiet and I was just like, can you see? And he was like, oh, heck no.
Okay.
I was like, well, I'm going to creep forward, but I'm pretty sure, that there's a drop in front of us. And he's like, okay, we'll creep forward. We crept forward, and all of a sudden, our Bradley just, the tank was facing straight down. I slammed on the brakes.
Oh, no.
He was like, back up, back up, back up. We about drove right off a cliff because it was so, you can't see with that sandstorm at the night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you still remember, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was-
And is it like a fear kind of?
No, it was just kind of like, oh, now that was close, and it was just like a story to tell.
I know.
Yeah,
I
it was-
know. Wow, you're very
Could have
brave.
been bad.
You're very brave. I mean, honestly, for me, if it happened to me, I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to
would've
remember
hurt.
those because it's like, wow. But I mean, that's really, good story. Good story means, it was happened to you but you're okay. Everybody was safe. But it's really scary. Yeah, scary at the same time, very adventurous. At the same time, there's no choice, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing. Those are flashbulb memory. You don't need to intentionally think too much, but it's just like through that emotion, maybe mix of excitement and scaredness and, maybe some reliefness all together. Those emotions kind of come together with your story.
Yeah.
So it can be like a flashbulb memory very clearly. You can kind of go back to that spot and remember, right? Yeah. So underline flashbulb memory relating with your emotion. It will come to you just clearly. Okay, so sleep and memory. People say you need to have a good enough sleep so you can remember better for the next day exam. Memory consolidation. And good thing is Daniel sleep usually 7 to 8 hours. It's not a deep sleep, but still try to have a good amount of sleep, right? Okay, so here we are gonna talk about one more time amnesia. So this is the one, maybe I need to use different graph right here. So amnesia it's an inability to remember certain information or maybe hold the information in certain scene. It can be temporarily happen or maybe permanently happen. If you watch drama, if you watch lots of TV, there's like a main character, maybe has a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. Somehow the car accident happened, and after that girlfriend doesn't remember anything about boyfriend, and maybe boyfriend came to the girlfriend and do you remember me? No, I do not remember you. So drama will happen, yes. So those will be more like this. That's the graph maybe I want to show. Amnesia is you do not remember certain partial of the information or the whole information. Let's say car accident happened. Because of those car accident, you do not remember your past. You do not remember your past boyfriend. It can happen to you. Those are retrograde amnesia. So in that case, retrograde amnesia. You do not remember your past, right? And anterograde amnesia means you do not remember, you cannot make a new memory. Do you remember HM, Henry Molaison, you read to us? So after removing those hippocampus area, HM cannot make a new memory, which means cannot remember recent any memory. So every time nurse and doctor try to introduce, they really need to say again and again the whole name because he cannot make any new memory after surgery. So after car accident, that girlfriend even cannot make a new memory. It can be really challenging, right? So those are amnesia. When you're thinking about amnesia, if you do not remember things, it's a retrograde amnesia versus anterograde amnesia. If you make those graphs, maybe it's easier. So we are going to watch one video clip about anterograde amnesia and talk a little bit more about those interference. Okay.
One man is consigned to live entirely within the present with terrible consequences. Clive Waring has the worst case of amnesia ever known. 20 years ago, he lost his memory. And now his wife, Deborah, is the only person he recognizes.
Clive really only has less than 30 seconds memory. And sometimes it's as little as perhaps 7 seconds. It's as little as a sentence.
I'm going to see your sister, Adele. Her daughter's got married recently
I see.
in New Zealand.
Ah,
And so they're having a party.
funny how the ladies acquire a different title when they get married.
Do you know who I'm going to see tomorrow?
Buckingham Palace.
No, really guess.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Mm.
Adele.
Oh, I see.
Do you know why I'm going?
No.
She's having a party at her house tomorrow.
It's her birthday, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
It's to do with her daughter.
I see.
Do you know why her daughter's having a party?
No.
Guess.
No, I don't.
She's just got married.
Oh, I see.
She just got married in, do you know what country she just got married in?
No, I don't.
In New Zealand.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
The sentence he is in, he will probably have forgotten the sentence before. You ask him a question and he'll give you an answer, but while he's giving you the answer, he's already forgotten the question. That's how short it is.
I'm going to see your kids tomorrow.
You want to see my kids?
Yeah, your children.
What are they up to now?
Do you know what they're up to now?
No.
Guess what you think they're up to.
No idea, I couldn't guess. I don't know what their O-levels were. They haven't got an O-level last time I was conscious. So I didn't know what possible thing they could do, did I?
No.
No, I couldn't possibly guess.
Where do you think they are?
No idea. Don't know where I am.
All he has is void behind him.
It's been like death. I've never seen a human being before, never had a dream or a thought. The brain has been totally inactive, day and night the same. No thoughts at all. As far as I'm concerned, the doctors have been totally incompetent. I've never seen a doctor the whole time. Oh, look, it's come. Oh, you're wonderful.
That was a very musical kiss. I'm dizzy. I don't know which part of the room I'm standing in.
Can we dance?
Okay. So it's a little, sad, right? Yeah, very sad. Because he could only remember his wife and he cannot make any new memory. Just like I said so, maybe a couple of seconds ago, but he cannot make a new memory. Those are definitely anterograde amnesia. And remember the past a little bit, at least like a wife. Yeah, he can remember, but cannot make any new story. But did you notice he can play piano very nicely, right? So if we're thinking about it, we've been talking about explicit memory and implicit memory. When we suffer maybe even like a memory loss and amnesia, we may have a problem of those explicit memory, but not maybe much of an implicit memory. Like a muscle memory, you already know how to play piano, you already know how to driving and how to swim, maybe less impact memory decay wise. So that was interesting. And Henry Molaison also had problem like making some new memory, which is anterograde amnesia. So one more time here, we've been talking about this. Those are interference, right? Interference. Retrograde integrate the interference and proactive interference, right? So let's do one more time. Maybe I will go and then show one more time. Sorry, it was here. Yeah. So retroactive, those are proactive. When you hear that retroactive and proactive, when you make an arrow sign, it's easier to understand for your exam too. So it's maybe question about retroactive. Yeah, retroactive. Retro means go back. So you make a arrow sign like this, right? So because of a current situation, I guess you have a hard time to pull out information about the past. I was thinking, when we watched the video clip, I have more 100 students I'm teaching right now in class and online. So because of right now, I have a new set of the roster of the student's name, including Daniel right here, right? So because of 100 new student rosters of this for 2025, I have a hard time to remember any of the students last semester because some of them last semester, spring 2025, because some of them, they asked me recommendation. So I know that person, but sometimes I cannot match their name and their face, right? So in that case, can you explain to me what class did you take? Maybe for example, Professor Moon, I'm Daniel, can you write a recommendation for me? Without any clue, I cannot write a recommendation. I took your introduction to psychology class. That was spring 2025. I was, so if you kind of give me those clues, maybe I will remember better. But because of current situation, I'm having new set of 100 students right here. I have a hard time to, remember, retrieve those, old my students' name. Does it make sense? Yeah. And this time, this is like a proactive interference. Suddenly, I have a good, example because of those, English accent. Let's say you live in here, the United States, for almost like entire life. Yeah, I know you went to Germany and several places, but you here, you live in the vacation, Oklahoma. Yeah, okay, yeah, the Oklahoma, and now you moved here, London, 6 months ago, and the problem is with driving. Your drive seat was the left side, and you drive very well, right? And now you live in London. The drive seat is right side, and you're confusing all the time, and forget, and you don't know how to drive well because you've been here only for 6 months. So because of your old information, you used to drive on the left side. Right now, you have a hard time to drive, kind of pulling out information how to drive on the right seat as a driver. Is it kind of make sense? Yeah. So if you remember that way, I know it can be a little confusing concept, but whenever you hear that retroactive and proactive, make an arrow sign and think about it. Okay, good. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is really fun part. Which image accurately depict the United States quarter? 50-50. What would be the correct?
I'm going to say the left one.
Left one. Are you sure? 100%?
Sure.
Okay. Do you have a coin?
I do not.
Let me see if I have it or not. I think I usually bring one. Okay. I have one. Oh, yes. Okay. Ta-da! I guess you're right.
I am right. Yeah,
Is it you're right?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So we have a confusion too. Like, it looks, both sides looks okay, right? But actually, the left one is the right quarter, and a little bit of a difference. Okay. So the next one, we will talk a little bit about false memory. We talk a little bit about maybe memory is not like a tape recorder. We rebuild our memory, and sometimes putting more information, sometimes we do not remember certain information, so we are losing some information, sometimes adding on more information. If it is really good and fantastic memory, probably you exaggerate a little bit, and your memory is kind of little inflated, right? And you have a certain memory you do not want to remember, maybe you kind of distorted your memory. Yeah, so thinking about that, if memory, can we trust our memory? So we're going to watch one video clip and talk about false memory. It's really interesting.
It's a hot summer's day. You're 8 years old and you're excited. It's the first time you've been up in a hot air balloon. You can see fields below. You feel the heat of the flame. It's something you'll never forget, a memory to last a lifetime. It's certainly not something you'd think you'd done if it had never happened.
Psychologists at Victoria University in Wellington are finding out just how easy it is to implant false memories using digitally altered photographs. There's nothing sinister about what they're trying to do. They're just trying to get to the bottom of how memory works. It's the first time anyone's investigated the power that digital technology has to change what we remember, and the results are remarkable.
It seems like the stuff of science fiction. 30 students are shown pictures of their childhood in a study they believe is about how we reminisce. In fact, it's testing how vulnerable their memories are. This is Jessica. It's day one of the experiment. When she's first shown the fake photo of her hot air balloon ride, unsurprisingly, she has no memory of it.
Tell me everything you can recall about that event. Absolutely nothing.
By the end of the week, she believes she's been in a hot air balloon, but the psychologist knows it's something she's never done.
I think I walked on the platform.
In fact, she's being deliberately tricked.
What we've been doing is showing people a selection of photographs from their childhood. 4 photographs. 3 of them are true, and 1 of them is fake. So the 3rd photograph in the booklet always depicts a subject and another family member taking a hot air balloon ride.
But they've never actually been on that ride?
No, we know that for a fact. We interview them 3 times over the course of a week, and by the time they get to the 3rd interview, just a week later, half of them, 50% of our sample, believes they've been on a hot air balloon ride.
50% is much higher than Marianne Gary and her team ever expected. Even the students that don't remember the hot air balloon ride believe the photos are real.
We asked family members to give us a photo of the subject that shows the subject clearly from the waist up and hopefully standing next to another family member. So we get a photograph that looks something like this. And we remove everything around that we don't want. We just grab them here and copy them over, and suddenly they're in the picture.
Bit big at the moment, aren't they? They won't quite fit in the hot air balloon.
They're a bit big, so we have to transform them, make them smaller and make them fit. So we end up with something like that.
That looks fantastic. They really look like they're in there.
Over the course of the week, subjects are asked not to speak to their family about the study. Kim asks them to think about the photos every night. By the 3rd interview, their imaginations are starting to fill in the detail.
Picture myself walking onto the balloon as if I was actually there. And I ended up getting a picture of some kind of platform.
I remember looking up at the gas and the balloon proper, so I just sort of remembered stuff like that, and also looking down at sort of the patchwork on the ground because we were quite high up.
Contrary to what we believe, memory does not work like a tape recorder. Our memories are not recorded and stored faithfully in the back of our heads and then played back like on a video recorder. Memories aren't permanent. They're a reconstruction, a blend of imagination and fantasy and things that you might hear about or think about afterwards, and also, like in our case, a photograph.
What kind of implications does this have?
One of the implications is that if you remember something and you report it with great confidence, great detail, and it's very vivid and clear, got a lot of emotion, doesn't necessarily mean it really happened.
What kind of reaction do you get from people when you tell them this event didn't happen at the end of the week?
Surprise, especially if they believe the event happened. They're also quite scared because people, they have a lot of faith in their memories. They think as a child, as an adult, they can remember their childhood quite clearly, and it's a big wake-up call when suddenly they realise their memory's not that reliable. One of the 4 photos we discussed didn't actually occur, so one of them didn't happen. You know which one that is? The balloon one. Yep, the balloon one. Yeah.
It's scary, really. Hot air balloon ride is not something you'd easily forget.
Okay. So let's talk about a little bit over here. So what do you think about our memory? Yeah. So sometimes maybe when you are young, your brother really don't like you and try to maybe harm you, maybe try to maybe kick you and maybe punch you. But actually you have maybe not much like a good memory of your brother, but actually it was not that bad. It could be maybe it was not that bad. Maybe your brother was a little naughty boy and tried to play with you. Yeah, and then all the emotion you remember as a more aggressive way and harmful way. But in your brother's perspective, your brother was really want to play with you, more like a playful way. But maybe it can be too much at that moment. So it can be maybe wrong memory. Each of those 2 brother and sister may have it. Yeah, possibly, and maybe even like abused the situation. It can be, it's totally maybe hurtful, experience, but it can be more little not clearly happen certain things, but you have some grudge on your maybe mom and dad, and it can be more worse, and you may have a worst memory. instead of more, it's really happened to you memory. So when you're thinking about hot air balloon, those memory that gives us, maybe our memory is not that clear. Maybe we think about our memory and memory construction. So Elizabeth Loftus, she did lots of experiment about memory and how we build our memory and reconstruct our memory, and realize we cannot trust our whole memory. Sometimes maybe it was not truly happened. Maybe we have a little distorted memory we have. Maybe all of us, including me, we have maybe not that maybe fact. Maybe that's not true. Maybe it's not really happening. I don't want to believe in that way, but our memory, I want to say memory is not like a tape recording system. We rebuild our memory. Sometimes that's why we make a mistake each other, and maybe that was maybe wrong memory, part of your wrong memory. So it's kind of interesting, yeah. So who is most prone to these types of inaccuracies? Age-wise, preschoolers. Because sometimes preschoolers, they need to be in front of the courtroom and say, yeah, I saw that person as an eyewitness. Yeah, it can be really challenging. But guess what? There are so many little children under age 6. They have a chance to kind of report what was happening, those crime scene, because the children was the only one who were around at that time. Yeah, it can happen. And suggestibility means as a young child, age 5 and 6, they want to please other people. So if you ask a question, did you see the man who was wearing red cap into the store? If they got those question, they're going to say yes. Because they want to get more like a positive answer and try to please people. So instead of yes and no question, you need to ask them, can you tell me what was happening on that day? Do you remember anything? Those are like a generalized question, make them maybe remember much better. Instead of A and B, choose and tell me, white hat versus blue hat, they may be a little confused. And then say randomly white hat or maybe yes, ma'am. Because, suggestibility is their kind of inaccuracy. And elderly adult, some memory problem, like a dementia and Alzheimer. Do you have anybody maybe suffers some dementia or maybe Alzheimer near your
I have a coworker that his mom right now is dealing with dementia and he's taking care of her.
That's really challenging, right? Yeah.
He has to do a lot.
Because it's getting worse. Maybe they need to take the medicine, but sometimes medicine does not prevent 100% kind of not stopping their memory, decay. So it can be really challenging for, themselves, both of them, because that person and the taking care of that person, right? Because my grandma, my mother's side, she suffered Alzheimer for 3 years. I mean, dementia was happening, but like Alzheimer for 3 years, it was really hard. It was not only her, own problem, it was like a whole family. Yeah, family from try to take care of her, and at the beginning take care of her at the house. But later on, send her to the facility, and it's really hard in every aspect. Yeah.
He's probably going to have to send her back to the facility, but I don't know. He says the memory's like so different, like every day. He said one week, he's the best person in the world to her, and the next week she's saying that he's trying to kill her. It's like,
oh, I see.
Her brain is everywhere.
I see.
He says she'll be petting imaginary cats, feeding her imaginary cats and stuff. It's just weird if the brain thinks it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, it could also be, how meted up she is also on some things, but sucks. That would suck seeing somebody do that.
It really hurts, for, even I hear maybe I have like a goosebump here, and it's really sad.
It is.
Yeah, it is really sad. And since we have a longer life, we used to all die like before 60, but now we technology and high, those all the health, the organization, hospitals, and we live up toward really 85 and 90 and 95, toward more like 100, right? So those Alzheimer, those disease, can be necessarily, kind of happen to all of us, possibly, right? So elderly adults possibly suffer maybe inaccurate memory. Psychological health, if you suffer schizophrenia, those are really severe psychological disorder. Probably distorted and, here and there, all the memory-wise, very fragile memory. And post-traumatic stress disorder, if you have those suffering of disorder, probably you don't want to remember, but flashbulb memory can happen to you so often and, give some, those sadness and burden to you. And alcohol abuse, of course, if you drink too much, you do not remember where you were, what did you do, right? So those are all relating with memory inaccuracies. Okay, anxiety too, and also depression. So if you suffer depression, you have a really hard time to remember a certain fact, and also you remember seems like a more some depressed story, more like a negative story. Even though there are certain good things on the day, you have a more focusing on negative aspect of those days. So it's really interesting, depending on those people suffer any those psychological disorder, it influences their memory. So here one more time, if you suffer post-traumatic stress disorder, which is PTSD, because of those past influence and experience, you don't want to remember, but keep giving you those cue and those memory, so you cannot sleep well at the nighttime, and it's really hard, for them. So involuntary memory. Okay, here, since we kind of finished this whole memory chapter, I have some fun activities with you. So here, if you try to read this paragraph, you may see like all the jumbled and all the words, right? Yeah. You can kind of read easily? Yeah, so Daniel can read easily. So let's see here. So starting from first floor, can you read for me?
According to research at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be at the right place. The rest can be a total mess and you can still read it without a problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. Amazing, huh?
Yes, amazing. You did a great job. You did an amazing job. So if you're looking at here, all the letters kind of jumbled and even not the correct spelling. And if you are maybe learning English for the first time and try to read, maybe you cannot read this. This is not the word, right? But we do have, a tendency to remember the letter system as a kind of chunk of information too. So according, that's kind of misspelling, but we can kind of, context-wise, those are according to the research at Cambridge University. So we have those special module in our brain. Do you still remember we have a special module for recognizing human beings' face? So the Margaret Thatcher's those weird upside down, those image of her face was, we feel like it doesn't make sense as a human being. Just like that, we do have a special module for the letter and for the face. That's why when you see this letter, even though all jumbled up, we can still read since we learned English, right? So we have a special performance, those skill in our brain. So interesting. So we could remember and keep reading. Next one is Stroop test. Have you ever done Stroop test? It's fun because we have a dual system, which is you do see all the information, iconic memory. And we do hear certain sound, echoing memory. And at the same time, it's happening, right? And this time, we really want to focusing on color of the word. Let's practice. So Daniel, the first law, can you read the color of the word?
Red.
So red will be blue. Because
that's what you're
we are focusing on the color of the word.
Blue, gray, black, yellow, black, red, yellow, green, black, Gray.
Uh-huh.
Blue, yellow, green, yellow, red, green, blue. Yeah, it's kind of hard.
It's hard, but you are doing so good. Usually, student doesn't do well in that well because it's really hard because we know that's red. I mean, the spelling is red when you see those iconic memory, almost like instantly. Oh, red. No. We need to think about color. So blue, right? The second one is I was instantly like blue because it's a blue right there. But you need to think that's a color, so it's a gray, right? And third one is black, yeah, because we need to read the color. And the last one is yellow, but I was almost saying like a gray. So how did you do that? Because you're doing so good. How do you try to?
I just kind of shut my brain off at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. I just focused on the color. So I just, I didn't really pay attention to all the letters. I just paid attention to the first letter, looked inside it, and looked at the color and said it.
Okay.
I don't know how.
Very good, very good. Usually I do have a little kind of competition between like half of the group and the other group. And let's do, but you are doing so good. So maybe we can do you versus me and try to do. So Daniel, can you go first row? Maybe I'm gonna read the second row, and you be like a third row, and I can go maybe last row.
Okay.
And we begin with you. So let's go. So I'm gonna clap and try to maybe do.
Right.
1, 2, 3.
Blue, gray, black, yellow.
You're doing so fast. Okay. Black, red, green, black.
Gray, blue, yellow, red.
Okay, yellow, red, green, blue. Oh, you're definitely
Yellow, red, green, blue.
Okay. Okay, so let's do one more time. I will try to do my best, kind of go fast. Okay, let's go.
All right. Blue, gray, black, yellow.
Black, red, green, black.
Gray, blue, yellow, red.
Okay, yellow, red, green, blue.
That definitely gets
that
gets confusing.
Yes. So this is like a strip test, and it's interesting. We try to see, can you read the color? Oh, red, because we do see those letters quickly and read. But if you're really focusing on, so imagine this is all the blob, and maybe focusing on the color, maybe it's easier in the sense, but you're doing so good. So, did you have a fun time, like learning this chapter, like a memory chapter?
It was a good day.
It was good? Okay. Yeah, we have a couple of minutes left, so I'm gonna move to next chapter and talk a little bit about learning. We are gonna talk about all different kind of learning as a next chapter. So here. So chapter 6, we are gonna talk about all different kind of learning. So I want to hear from you. Can you write down your own definition of learning? Anything, like your own definition, yes. Okay, you're done? Okay. If you don't mind, could you read for us?
Yeah, it's pretty close to memory, honestly. I said taking information in and retaining it.
Very good. So we got maybe some new information and try to hold it. Mm-hmm. And if it is true learning, maybe we need to retrieve very well. So that means true learning is happen. Very good. So we are going to talk about what is learning in this chapter, the definition of learning, classical conditioning. So from now on, conditioning means learning. If you put instead of conditioning like a learning, you can understand more better. So here, classical conditioning, operant conditioning, which means operant learning, yeah, and observational learning, and biological influence on learning, and cognitive influence on learning. This is like a learning chapter we are going to talk about all different kind of learning. So here, definition-wise, if true learning happened to you, it will change your behavior. It will change your thinking. So probably you're taking certain lecture and lesson, and you truly got impressed. And it will maybe change my life, like a life-changing experience, like a learning, right? So it's a true learning happen, it will change your thinking and behavior, at least somewhere else in your brain. So we are talking about psychology, and maybe you will remember in your life too, okay? Because it's somewhere else. So thank you so much, and maybe we'll talk more next week.